Church. Welcome home, everybody. Oh, we're glad to have you here with us today. We're glad for you joining us virtually as well. Today, we just want to celebrate God, celebrate the freedom to live in love, the freedom to give love, and to share love with this world. So let us celebrate this morning as we continue singing and worshiping God, our Heavenly Parent.
Just moved to be able to be together again with each person here today and those online. We thank you for our freedom. We thank you for July 4th yesterday and just for all the blessings that we have in our lives. We want to just come to you today in gratitude for everything that you give to us in each moment. And we just want to celebrate with you today full of joy and love and gratitude and fellowship with one another. Finally, we thank you. We invite you into this moment, into all of our hearts, and please speak through Jerio into our lives. We thank you and offer this time to you. Pray this in your name and all of our names. Amen and Amen. Thank you all. You may be seated. It's real nice to have you all back again in person. Thank you for wearing a mask, and it's really great to see you. And Jerry is going to be sharing about freedom today.
Well, hello everybody. This is there we go. Welcome. This is interesting. I've been speaking to a phone, like literally me and Lena get here early in the morning and I just stare at my phone for 45 minutes every Sunday morning, and this is so different. I'm so happy to see you all, to be celebrating together with all of you. I think one of the biggest things is God calls us to be together. And that's why this time period has been so challenging, because not just people, everything in nature is drawn to be together, right? It's created, designed to have interaction, to have attraction, to have a give and take, to have that investment and that response. And so it's very strange and unnerving to us as human beings when we have no response. It was like me talking just to the phone and, hello everybody there, and I do appreciate you being there, but it was so weird because if I say something, I have no response. So I go, okay, they like my joke, and I'd continue on, right? But I had no feedback, no real connection, and so it's strange. So we're glad to be here together. We're glad for everybody joining us remotely too, that we also can worship, beyond borders, beyond these four walls. And today we wanted to remember about freedom. Right? We celebrated July 4th yesterday, right? I hope you all had a fun time. Good experiences, barbecues, pool parties, something. We hope that you enjoyed that. And all of us were thinking about July 4th. So I was asking my kids about July 4th. I said, what does Independence Day mean to you? And then Morel started talking about the tea party and throwing all the tea bags out. And Kyler said, no, it wasn't tea, it was soda. They definitely threw out all the British soda. And they started having this long dialogue about soda and tea. And then Kyler said he won't drink tea because they were taking all the tea, and it became this big issue. And we tried to share with them, no, it had nothing to, it was actually, the tea party was right, but everything else, you guys are kind of just going off in another world. But it was really about our independence. And I said, one of the cool things though, is that although we had this separation, I said now the British and America are great allies, we're friends. So there was an ability to resolve our differences. There was just a need at the time to exercise our individual freedom. And the kids, I don't know if they caught any of that. But we were talking and we had a good conversation. And I was thinking about this, this is an amazing place that we live in, right? That we have these freedoms, that we have the ability to make choices in our life. We have a platform that allows us to make decisions. And sometimes those decisions give us more freedom, and sometimes those decisions narrow our future decision making, right? Sometimes we make a choice and it hinders our growth, it hinders our possibilities. Sometimes we make choices and it just opens up many, many new doorways. But at least we have the choice to make those choices, right? We have the decision-making ability here in America. And I was reminded of that because, I was talking to my good friend, Kiro here, and we were talking about his country in Eritrea, and that freedom isn't there. He aspires for it for his own country. And we're reminded, actually, many people are longing for freedom in this world. To just have the opportunity, the chance, to speak freely, to affect change in their government. To say, hey, we don't like what's going on, let's change this. Even just that possibility, right? Sometimes growing up in America, we might take it for granted. How much we can say what we want to say, how much we can do what we want to do. But many people in the world are still aspiring towards that. And while this is not the perfect union, it's not everything perfected, there's at least an aspiration towards it, right? There's the preamble that talks about striving for this more perfect union. And I like how they said, we're for the more perfect union. They didn't say, this is it. We have arrived. We've made the perfect country. They say, oh, no, we're in pursuit of a more perfect nation. That they actually put that in there. They didn't say, hey, our king is better than our Congress is better than anything else, our president is better. They said, we're actually creating a nation that aspires to always be better, to improve. And I thought that's such a cool idea that we put that in there, that we said, hey, we're going to shoot for the moon. We're going to put this huge hope. We're going to say stuff like, it's self-evident that we have these inalienable rights, right, that God bestowed upon people, that we should all have the right for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. They aspired towards this. Now, sometimes we fall short, but again, they didn't say we have a perfect union. They said we're striving for that more perfect union. We're attempting for this, and we're going to give you opportunity to create this. We're going to give you the option to make choices in your families, in your communities, in your neighborhoods. And we, the people, are going to come together to make decisions to improve our lot, or sometimes we're going to hinder it. Right? Because freedom is about choices that affect other people as well. And I was thinking about, sometimes we laugh at some of these caution
labels on some of our products, right? Like you get a cup of coffee from McDonald's and it has to say, caution, hot. As if we didn't expect it, right? Or, I do expect it, right? I'd be kind of mad if my coffee was cold, right? But we have to put this label on there because some people chose not to exercise their responsibility, and then it limited the freedom for everybody because someone had to be the parent in the room and go, okay, if you're going to keep dumping coffee on your laps, I got to let you know that it's hot. Or you get a bag of peanut M&Ms and it'll say, caution, may contain peanuts. Whoop, whoop. Or the slip and slide I grew up with, and then they took it off the market because people were laying it on the concrete thinking somehow it was going to cushion their fall, right? And they had to make these rules and say, okay, you're not allowed to have nice things anymore. I'm sorry, we're going to have to pull that back because you've got to take responsibility to have that freedom, right? It's the way that we treat our children, right? We don't hand them the keys to our car because they're not able and capable and responsible to operate it, right? But as we grow, as we take more ownership of our lives, as we make better and better choices, we open up the doorway for freedom to be in our life, right? And so that was the beginning of this nation, is this choice that we're going to take responsibility, we're going to correct our course when we're off course, but we're going to shoot for this high ideal. I think about this with my family, right? Sometimes me and my wife, we're trying to be a true couple, a true family, and I go, whoa, that marker is way up here, and we're way down here, and I just said something I really shouldn't have said, right? I overreacted, I got impatient, but we're working towards this higher ideal, and that's what I feel like America is. It's shooting for such a high goal that often we want to criticize it. Say, oh, you said, that this was for all people, and all people are created equal, but look at how we're treating people. Well, at least we're shooting for that, right? And we can become a more perfect union. So it comes with that responsibility. It comes with a choice of how we're going to live our life. Now, I always also thought, I'm just amazed at the optimism of America because we also celebrate July 4th, right? And we call this our Independence Day. But my kids asked me about it, and then I looked it up on my phone, and I'm ashamed I looked it up. But then I go, wait, we weren't free on that day, right? No, we just declared that we were. We told, we wrote this document, we signed it, we said, Art England, we're our own country. But England did not agree. And it took 7 years of dedication, of war, of commitment, of sacrifice, to actually make that a reality. Right? So we even celebrate July 4th, our Independence Day. But it was really us just declaring and deciding and saying to the world, hey, you know what? We're our own country now. And England, George is saying, no, you're not. You're one of my colonies, and I expect my taxes at the end of the year. And so we fought for 7 years. But that's the hope of America, right? This ragtag group of people coming, escaping from all parts of the world, right here in this room, people from all parts of the world that are declaring that we're going to build a more perfect union, a better place. No other country has that as that foundational aspect, right? That we're trying to build a better and better place. And sure, we fall short all the time, but we're taking those decision-making, we make those choices day in and day out to make more effort, to allow more room for people to breathe, for more room for people to move and have opportunity. And we continue to pursue that more perfect union. But it comes with a lot of responsibility, right? It comes with a choice day in and day out how we're going to live our life. And I wanted to share some local wisdom with y'all, if that's all right. So this came from a very insightful, wise person on Facebook. Happy Independence Day. This came from Nami. We as a country and individuals are so lucky to have the freedom we do. With that freedom comes the opportunity to be selfless. We have the free will to make our own decisions that can be selfish or selfless. Where you're thinking of others, placing their potential needs above your own. Let's use the current situations in our society as a growing experience and better our selflessness. And then she's encouraged everybody to be safe and enjoy. All right, I loved it. I was so excited. And then I wrote to her and said, can I steal this for tomorrow? She said, go ahead. We have the freedom to choose how we're going to live our life. We have the freedom to choose, am I going to give value, give love, give encouragement to my brother and sister today? Or am I going to live selfishly? Am I going to help this world move forward? Am I going to help my relationships move forward? Or am I only going to think of myself? We have the freedom to choose that day in and day out. And again, that freedom or that choice gives us a wider range of freedom, or it limits our scope. And I was reminded this because, well, besides Independence Day happening yesterday, I know many, maybe even in this room, celebrate their marriage anniversary, their blessing anniversary this last week, right? Yeah, a few of you? Yeah. All right. Well, me and Lena are also celebrating today our 13th anniversary. Woo, hi. Also, Corey and Eric are celebrating their 13th anniversary today, and Countess and Mar are also celebrating. And I always thought it was kind of funny because when we got married, we were married in Korea, right? We were blessed in Korea, and it was July 5th there, so we celebrate July 5th. But it was still July 4th over here, right? So all of us Americans were thinking about Independence Day and fireworks that day as we're getting married. And it's so funny because often you don't associate marriage with independence, right? Often you don't connect the two, right? You might not connect that. And, often it's referred to as the ball and chain, right? Something that's forever you're going to lose yourself in that marriage. You're never going to be free again, some people would say. Now, I have to admit, as a young 21-year-old, those thoughts did creep into my mind before the big day. Now, I was looking at this ball and chain, and while she was a very pretty ball and chain, it was still going to be a ball and chain and cramp my style. I was thinking, what I like to do is I like to go fishing when I want to go fishing. I like to sit on the lake all day and soak up the sun. I like to go play poker when I want to play poker and come home whenever I want to. And I was about to throw it all away. And I started looking at that. Oh, man. And it came up. It was like, 3-4 weeks out. And I started thinking about that. And I go, Jerry, you're right. You're 21. I even had an aunt call me up. She goes, you're really young. You got a lot of choices, a lot of things you can do with your life. You sure you want to jump in this right away? She was looking out for me, but, and those thoughts crept into me. I go, do I want to get this? I can do whatever I want right now. I'm a young guy. I'm having fun. So I had this great idea. I said, hey, I can have the best of both worlds. I called up Lena. I said, hey, let's still do this marriage thing, but maybe we could wait a year. This probably wasn't the words she wanted to hear, right? But I was really amazed because of the love and grace that she spoke into me at that time. And she just really wanted to comfort me, encourage me. And it blew my mind because she never was like, why are you doing this to me? And I was like, I expected it because it was kind of true, right? Someone could say those things, and I was kind of being a jerk at the moment because we planned this out and we had tickets and we had dresses. Well, she had a dress, but I was getting these cold feet, because I was worried about losing myself. And that's how many people look at marriage, at these commitments. Right? That's probably how a lot of these initial signers of the independence were looking at it. They're going, hey, I probably, most of them are probably manufacturers or have a big farm, and they're going, when I sign this document, I might lose myself. I'm going to have to work with people I don't even like to fight for a hope, a dream, an aspiration that's not even a guarantee. Right? And so that's how my marriage was. It was like this hope, this dream that happily ever after might happen, but there was certainly no guarantees. Right? There's this choice to commit and to make that decision and take that responsibility for someone else's life with the hope that, yes, I'd have freedom and happiness and love, but there was no guarantee. And eventually, it took about a night of me sleeping on it and talking to my brothers and them talking sense into me, that I called her back up. I said, oh, I'm sorry about that. Let's go ahead. And I'm glad, because today we're celebrating our 13-year anniversary. So, but it reminded me, right, that the freedom, the joy, the happiness that we all aspire towards takes commitment and responsibility. It takes us making a choice to control ourselves, to manage ourselves, so that we can live in more freedom and happiness. Recently, I was reading this from True Mother, Mother Moon. She said, you should not be self-centered. You need to put yourself aside. To do so, you first need to unite your mind and body, and thus begin working and acting on what you say. This right here is one of those fundamental issues. We want to have freedom. We want to have a great body or a great job or a great career or a great relationship. But oftentimes we find ourselves limited in that capacity because what we think we should do, what we know we should do, we don't act upon, right? And so it limits our freedom. And so she's saying, first we've got to clear this up. We've got to start taking responsibility for our actions. It's not enough to just say nice words. It's not enough to just say I love you, but I've got to act upon it. It's more than just saying we're one family under God. We've got to start acting on it. And so she's encouraging us to take this step. And she says this is how you can achieve freedom and peace. Again, this contradictory notion to a lot of us. Many people think freedom is choosing whatever the heck I want to do whenever I want to do it. Right? But she's saying, no, if you want to unlock freedom and peace, you've got to start taking responsibility for your choices. Your mind, your body, your relationships, your interactions. And this is the pathway to freedom and peace. If I am happy and those around me are happy, that is freedom, isn't it? Right? The problem is our own self. The kingdom of heaven, though, is such a place where people like that live. So when we choose to start being people that live for the sake of others, when we choose selflessness over selfishness, when we choose to put another's needs above our own, we start unlocking this happiness, this freedom, this joy, where other people desire to be in relationship with us. Where other people desire to give more because of all that they've been given. And we start unlocking the keys to the kingdom of heaven, to building a better place. So this idea of freedom comes with that responsibility, that choice of how I'm going to live my life. Those founding fathers made a choice of how they were going to give of themselves for the hope, the dream of building a more peaceful and free society. A place where people could exercise their rights. When we choose to marriage, right, we're putting our hope, our faith in that act of selfless giving for the hope that we create a better family. When we choose to come together as a community and live for the sake of others, we open up a doorway of more love into our life, of people that will take care of us in times of need, of a place where we can be there for one another. It's a real place of opportunity and freedom. And Father says humankind is reaching toward a world of oneness. This is our desire, right? A better world of freedom, peace, and unity. Therefore, we need to develop our character for the sake of the world, of hope that will come in the future. Our new feeling should be that we ourselves have to become a being of higher value. So we ourselves are aspiring towards this higher value. God says, you are my son, you are my daughter, and we're aspiring towards claiming that role, that inheritance, to be these true sons and daughters. And then we're going to open up this realm of freedom, peace, and unity. And so as we work on ourselves, as we control ourselves, as we start to manage our emotions, manage our relationships, manage our reactions to one another, we create the platform, the place for happiness to naturally come about. Right? And so this is what he's encouraging us to do, and to also aspire towards that higher value. Not to accept, hey, I'm pretty good and that's all I need to be. But actually, God is calling us to ever higher standards of value. That we can become more and more precious in our ability to love in the relationships that we have as we keep working on ourselves and working on our relationships. And finally, he said, the realization of world of true peace, where there is freedom and equality, is only possible when we find God, the one source of true love. Right? This is what we aspire towards, to establish relationships centered on God, to establish friendships centered on God, to establish communities centered on God, where there's this absolute value. It's not something that shifts and moves with time. It's this one that cares and loves for all people, that when we put God at the center, we're also recognizing that each one of you is my brother and sister, that our communities are our community. Not someone else's problem, but it's our responsibility to fix it and clean it. The source of true love, and unite with God. A world of true peace that humankind aspires to is not realized from the top to bottom, nor from the bottom to the top. When every individual lives in dependence to God and establishes a true family, a free, peaceful, and eternal world will be built for the first time. We, the people, declare that these things are self-evident, that all people are created equal, that all people deserve the opportunity to life, to liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, the pursuit of a better world. And when we're founded absolutely in God, when we find this relationship with God, it's not a relationship with the next politician. It's not a relationship with some book or some idea, but it's a relationship with God himself. It's not going to come from the bottom to the top. It's not this rebellious action, and it's not a mandate from some leader that's going to dictate peace and love. But it's the awakening of each one of us realizing our true potential, our true identity as sons and daughters of God, and starting to live that out and live like we believe it. Live like we are holy people. Live like we are precious, beloved people of ultimate value. And start to share that love with other people. Start to share that value with other people. Start to treat other people with that amount of respect, as if, wow, right before me is a representative of God. How does that change our mind when I look at my kids and I go, wow, this little kid that's talking about throwing soda, which makes no sense, he actually represents God. And I should love him as such. And when he tests my patience, he still is an embodiment of God, and I've got to treat him as such. And when my neighbor plays their music too loud, I've got to remember, this is a person of God. And I'm going to love them anyways. And I'm not going to yell and holler, and I'm going to think, hey, maybe they're celebrating. And we should all be celebrating. That's okay. But, we have to realize this truth, where we all come from. This is the foundation that America strives for. And it falls short of, I admit, but it strives for. This is what we as a people are striving towards. And just because we fall short does not mean it's not something to keep pursuing. Just because my marriage isn't always perfect does not mean that I'm going to quit pursuing being a great husband. Right? It's something we strive for. It's that ideal. And that's what I love about being from America, this hope, this optimism that resides in the heart of America. And one of the cool things, too, is it's a group of people from all over. Thomas Paine, who only had come to reside in America 2 years before the Civil War. He was from England. And he came over here and he goes, hey, I don't want, these people came from all over the world. And sometimes people were saying, hey, the Mother England. And he said, yeah, but everybody here is from Germany, from France, from Holland, from England too. They're coming from all parts of the world. He said, no, we're not just one people anymore, or a scattered people. We're one new kind of people. And so we can aspire towards that as this new kind of people
not associated with our past allegiances, but now associated with this ideal of a place of true freedom, of true love, of true happiness for everybody. And beyond America, I'm standing as God's son or daughter, so I'm going beyond my nation. And we have to liberate all countries and give that opportunity to other people. Living out love, expanding, multiplying God's family from here to my neighborhood, to my community, out to the nation and out to the world. It's a big dream to hope for. It's something that kind of seems like, could that ever really be? But this country really shouldn't have ever been, but it is. And so when I hear about the kingdom of heaven, when I hear about true families, when I hear about true love, I go, yeah, that's something really far off. But it comes from God, and I know that it's going to be a reality. So brothers and sisters, let us own ourselves. Let us own our relationships. Let us take responsibility for our brother and our sister, for our kids, for our parents, for our marriages. And start choosing that we're going to create a realm of freedom by taking responsibility for our love and to expand it ever forward and build God's kingdom of heaven here on earth that we can all live in together. Thank you, brothers and sisters. I'm so glad to be back and to be here. Let us join in prayer and thanking God. God, our Heavenly Parent, God, you look down on this world with so much hope. God, sometimes it must hurt for you to have so much hope in us and see that sometimes we are not always filled with that same hope, not always filled with that same belief, and not always filled with that same conviction of our value as sons and daughters of you, God. God, I pray that we can make this world a more perfect union, that we can make this world a more beautiful place, that we can start to decide to choose love. God, to choose selflessness, to choose living for the sake of others in our daily interactions, God. God, we envision this brand new world. We envision this kingdom of heaven. God, let us make the decision in our own lives, in our own experiences, to make it a reality today. Not something we're shooting for in the future, but something we are creating in the here and now, God. God, please be with my family here. Our brothers and sisters all gathered here in this place and on their couches and living rooms and kitchen tables, God. People all throughout, God, encourage your people, my family, to start seeing each other as brothers and sisters. To start looking at the least of these with hope and love and compassion. God, let us rise up to this standard of building a new heaven and a new earth here where we live. God, we want to offer our gratitude to you today for leading us so far already, for opening up doorways and opportunities that we can be moving. God, I pray for those that are struggling right now. Lift up our family. Lift up our brothers and sisters that desperately need you. God, give them your encouragement, your love, your compassion. And let us build one family under you, God. God, we want to offer our gratitude to you, to our true parents, to Jesus, and to all those that sacrificed and paved the way for us to stand here today, that we might live in a more perfect society. Every day we can continue to wake up and think about how we continue to pave that way for our future generations to take that gift we've received and pass it on down to our children and their children. God, we want to offer this Sunday to you in gratitude and love. We pray all these things in your holy name, God, and all of our names gathered here. Amen. Adieu.
Brothers and sisters, let us take a moment for unison prayer. This is a time of personal reflection, connection with God as your heavenly parent, receiving his message. Thank you, God, for being in this place this morning. Thank you, God, for being in our hearts today, for opening up our hearts to aspire for something greater. I want us to just take a moment to turn to your neighbor. Say, hi, neighbor. As close as your neighbor might be. Maybe 6 feet apart. There's a country song out now when we're no longer 6 feet apart. Anyway, say hi to them. And I want you to just say a few words of what freedom means to you. We're just going to take a moment to connect with the message and share some encouraging word to someone else. So just take a moment to share what freedom means to you, to someone to your back. You at home, please take a moment to share with your friend, your brother, your sister, your parents, what freedom means to you. I hope that we can start opening up these new connections and continue sharing with each other. I'm just going to share a few announcements, but if you're in a good conversation, I don't want to stop you. We felt like we need to start making more opportunities for interaction during our services. So we want to start doing this and let everybody connect with the message and connect with the wonderful, amazing people. As I shared from Nani today, I think there's so much wisdom right here in this room, and so we want to be able to share that. So a few announcements, up and coming stuff. Today we're reopened physically. It's so weird. We were saying, oh, we're going to go live, but now live has two meanings. Live can be online, or live is in person. So we had to clarify, like live, in person, live. But we're also live online, so we're live everywhere. We're just filled with life, I guess. We are so glad that you joined us today at Gather. We're pursuing living with relationship with God, loving others, and finding ways to give back to this world. And we'd love to pray for you here in this room and here through the waves. Please let us know anything you need prayers for. We want to connect with you, serve you, and support you. Mostly just share God's love over your situations. So let us know. If you'd like to give, we have our number there, 855-247-6182. You can just text give there and donate here live at our box. And we're here live every Sunday here with you and also online at 10 a.m. Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, thank you. And you can go back. Slide. Yeah, thanks everyone. Also, don't forget we have some sanitizer there. Thank you for wearing masks. If anyone would like to help disinfect a little bit after, we welcome you. And yeah, it's just really great to be back together again. And Mia wanted to share something. Mia worked overnight, all night long at Amazon to help people get their packages on time and came straight here to sing. So I just want to appreciate that.
I just want to throw in a last announcement out there. Montessori World is in desperate need of some administrative help and with participating in the classroom. If you would like more information about this position, because they want to open up in August, we would love anyone who's interested to come forward or to send me a direct message through Facebook or text or call. Anybody online watching that just happens to think this might be a position for me, please reach out and let me know. Or if you know someone who would be interested, that would be amazing, because we love Montessori World so much. So that's it.
Thank you. We invite you to all stand up for this final song. And this is a good old school worship song and really getting back to the basics and of how awesome our God is. And we invite you to sing along and just really feel it in your heart, as it's a simple song, but you can just get more and more prayerful and into it as we go.
It's literally these words on the screen, repeated about 7 times.
I think we decided 7.
For holy numbers' sake. But yeah, feel free to release the passion. Our God is an awesome God, He reigns from heaven above with wisdom, power, and love. Our God is an awesome God. Our God is an awesome God. He reigns from heaven above with wisdom, power, and love. Our God is an awesome God. Our God is an awesome God. He reigns from heaven above with wisdom, power, and love. Our God is an awesome God. Our God is an awesome God. He reigns from heaven above with wisdom, power, and love. Our God is an awesome God. Our God is an awesome God. He reigns from heaven above with wisdom, power, and love. Our God is an awesome God. Our God is an awesome God. He reigns from heaven above with wisdom, power, and love. Our God is an awesome God.
Thanks y'all so much. Our God is an awesome God, and it's so nice to be able to share that with you all today. Thank you for being here, and let's enjoy some fellowship and have a wonderful Sunday, and we'll see you next Sunday at 10.